Welcome to Srila Prabhupada's 1992 family reunion.
Krishna Kirtana Gana
17 years ago today, Srila Prabhupada inaugurated the Melbourne Temple. To commemorate this event, devotees from all over Australia and the world have come together to relive Prabhupada's ecstatic pastimes.
To invoke the flavour of the Melbourne that you all remember, it's going to rain. We're still going out. And obviously you can't all fit in cars, so we're all going to take a tram.
You want one? It's around Krishna, or you have it to
Good man, not silly, huh? Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita Jai Rup Prasanatana Saraguna Ishiva Gopala Bhatta Dasaraguna Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama Hari Haraya Nama.
Fairs, please. Your fairs ready, please.
Cancel on that, will you?
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham.
शंखापूर्वक नाम गान नति
I remember Srila Prabhupada's last morning walk in Melbourne. He spoke about Krishna anxiety. He said that this kind of anxiety is welcome. In the material world, people are in anxiety about money and sex. But in the spiritual realm, the anxiety is how to get Krishna. The anxiety is there, but the quality is different. I remember Chidahari asked him if when we perform our deity worship and we get into anxiety, how to make it nice. Is this spiritual? Prabhupada replied, yes. He smiled and he quoted Srila Rupa Goswami, who said that if one can purchase this Krishna anxiety, he must do it at any price. And what is that price? He said, the price is that one must be in anxiety to have it. And that anxiety is not available even after millions of births of pious activities.
कृष्ण कीर्तन गान नूतन जय राधा माधव पुण्य बिहारी जय राधा माधव पुण्य बिहारी
Now it has to be decided what is our next body. Next body. That is answered in the Bhagavad Gita. You will find. Janti deva vrta devan pitrin janti pitri vrtaha bhutani janti bhutejya madhyajinopi janti mam. If you want to go to the higher planetary system where the demigods live, you can go there. Therefore the Kurmis, by performing Vedic ritualistic ceremonies, they want elevation to the higher planetary system where the life, prolongation of life is very, very big. As you have got day and night in the higher planetary system, the waxing and waning moon, then when the moon is present there and the sky is in light, that is the day of the higher planetary system. And when the moon is dark, that is the night, or that means our 15 days in the higher planetary system, 12 hours. Just imagine their year.
I was initiated in April 72, and we had a very big fire sacrifice that day out on the back lawn. We had a little trouble because one of the devotees who was going to get married, her father was rather upset about it, and he was threatening to kill Prabhupada, so we had to have special bodyguards, and he actually made the paper the next day, being very distressed about his daughter's marriage. But it was a nice initiation. I think 15 of us got initiated, and Prabhupada, when he initiated me, he gave me the name of Ambika, and he told me that she is the wife of Lord Shiva, that she's a pure devotee, she's the goddess of material nature, and that I should pray to her to help me to reach Krishna.
Prabhupada, you saved my life. In confidence you took the knife, opened my darkened eyes, shut for many million lives. Mercy incarnation sweet, amazing I could meet a Savior kind as you, a saint so pure and true. You sacrificed your life for me, gave yourself to set me free. Your pity overflowed, that's why you left your Lord's abode.
Krishna Prabhupada Mataji, you joined in Adelaide back in 1977. Can you tell us what it was like back in the late 70s in Adelaide at that time?
Well, the mood of Krishna consciousness was very intense, and it was always centered around book distribution and just a very intense mood of remembering Krishna and trying to please Krishna and Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhu, you were the temple president way back there in 1971 when I joined up in Sydney. Can you tell us a little bit about Prabhupada's first visit?
We had this letter from Kurma that said Prabhupada was going to be visiting Moscow and all, and that every temple should write a letter inviting Prabhupada to visit them. So I never dreamed that Prabhupada would visit them. I just thought it was a point of etiquette that the disciple asked the spiritual master to visit, but the spiritual master, of course, politely declines. So I wrote Prabhupada a letter, figuring that there would never in the world be a positive response. At that time I was still a brand new devotee, I didn't know anything, and I was thinking of Prabhupada in kind of material terms. I was thinking, you know, a 72-year-old man wouldn't want to travel all the way to Australia. Little did I know that Prabhupada was destined to circle the world 12 times in as many years. At that time I really didn't know that Prabhupada was a world traveler. All the stories that Upender used to regale us with about Prabhupada were Prabhupada in San Francisco, and I had a picture of him as being more or less stationary, and this was just an unusual trip to Moscow. So Kurma had written this letter, invite Prabhupada to your temple. So I wrote, never imagining that he would accept, but he did. He wrote back, and he said, I'm coming. He gave the time and said, pay the money for the tickets, and I think he needed 3 tickets. And I still to this day, I think there was a devotee named Raghunath who had been a Baha'i and joined the Krishna conscious movement, and he donated $3,000 for the tickets. I'm not sure whether he did that for Prabhupada's first trip to Australia or Prabhupada's second trip to Australia, but I remember he donated $3,000 to cover the 3 airline tickets. And otherwise there wouldn't have been any way, based on selling, 10, 15 back to Godheads a day on the street, that we would have been able to have Prabhupada come. But he did, and boy, we were just so thrilled. We met him at the airport, and I remember I was so enthusiastic about seeing my spiritual master. It was the first time that when he came through the customs gates, I offered my obeisances so vigorously that I banged my head on the floor. And I was pretty much half conscious the rest of the day. I think I even gave myself some sort of a mild concussion. I was only semi-conscious, and I don't know whether that was due to the blow in my head or the delirium at having Prabhupada here, or what. We had this Volkswagen blue combi van with no windows, and it was actually quite a step up for Prabhupada to get into the passenger seat for that. Or maybe, well, I'm not sure whether we brought him from the airport in that. We might have had a limousine, but on all the times that we took Prabhupada around sightseeing, we had to use that combi van. So Prabhupada arrived at the storefront, and we had, as well as about 100 people, and this is a real small room, as well as having about 100 people, we had 4 or 5 television stations and newspapers, and they all had their cameras set up, and it's a small room, packed, overflowing, and then you have 4 or 5 TV stations, all of whom are filming Prabhupada with their hot lights. It was really something. Then Prabhupada installed deities, which had come from Bombay. They just had a big festival at the Kurma Park in Bombay, and these deities, called Radha Gopinatha, were brought, I think they were carried perhaps by Vagavan, to Australia, and Prabhupada performed the installation ceremony. And smoke and camera lights, but it was ecstatic.
One thing that's been really interesting or really nice for me at this particular festival is the fact that I met one devotee who I knew when I was a new devotee on the Radha Damodar TSKP party. He was my Sankirtan leader, the bus leader, and that is Brigopati Das. And I met him here at this festival, and I haven't seen him for years and years. And as soon as I saw his face on the Mahaharinam last night, I was really overwhelmed, because that immediately brought back so many memories of being together in those Kmart parking lots, collecting and distributing. It was just really an amazing experience. And to meet him right in the Harinam was really wonderful.
No more sweet feet, Roland. No more father to tell his children everything was all right. No more sound of his gong pounding out the beat of the kirtan. No more beautiful, handsome Prabhupada to see shining in the morning sun. Years of are warm but still sad. So I pray that you will let me always remember those special promises I made with you. And thus being true to these holy vows, I will live with you forever. He reasons ill who tells that Vaishnavas die, and they are still alive and sound. The Vaishnavas die to live, and living spread holy names around.
Upananda used to arrange these bizarre dramas at the street. So we did this play. We were so desperate to get people to come and sort of get them close to us so we could preach to them that Upananda arranged. He had these most ridiculous plays. One of them I had to dress up in a nappy. That was Upananda and Hanuman. And I was in a hospital bed under a sheet in a nappy. I just can't figure out how I ever breathed. There was one play that it was very well done, and Upananda had choreographed this play that we'd all be chanting, and then all of a sudden a murderer, a vicious man armed with some sort of weapon would leap out of the crowd and stab me to death. This is how the play goes. And then I would die on the spot, and then everybody would come around, and then all of a sudden I would leap up and say, "I'm not this body." And then I was supposed to say something to the Bhagavad Gita, and so that was the one that had to do the hacking. So he put on some kami clothes and leapt out of it, and he did such a good job. And he hit me so hard that I actually went down, and it looked so realistic that people all thought that I actually committed some crime. So I played the part, and I played dead. And then apparently, because I was lying there with my eyes closed, but apparently they chased me for quite a long distance.
I feel extremely blessed to be here today and to be given a chance to see and hear all of you, my God brothers and sisters, all children of our beloved Srila Prabhupada. I want to sincerely thank you all for helping me to become Krishna conscious. Unfortunately, there are some of you I can't personally thank today because you have passed on and taken up another assignment in Srila Prabhupada's mission. So on behalf of all the Prabhus today, all the assembled Prabhus, we'd all like to say thanks, Guri, for coming and lighting the fire under us all. This fire wasn't like any material blaze, because it didn't destroy anything, but it helped to create so many people's good fortune. All the spiritual seeds that you distributed in the form of Srila Prabhupada's books are out there. Some are growing, and others are waiting to be watered a little more, and they will surely begin to flourish. We would all wish you were here to flash us that irresistible boyish smile just one more time. Sometime when we're rushing to do something very important, you may inadvertently step on someone's toes. I know that if the Guru is here, he would apologize to anyone he stepped on your toes, and he was very kind, and he never meant to hurt anybody. So on behalf of everybody, let us say that.
In point of fact, I was never introduced to Prabhupada. I saw him for a couple of minutes at Melbourne Airport, and going back, I think it must have been 1975. That was the time when there was a huge chanting party of devotees that had gone to Melbourne Airport, and he arrived at a gate in the concourse 2 up from where the devotees were assembled, and there was just this incredible rush from one part of the concourse to another. And that was my only direct experience of Prabhupada. We never met, but I did glimpse him. And it's very difficult to describe the emotions, the effect that glimpse had. I suppose to cut it down to its basics, I thought he was someone significant. He was someone of great spiritual power.
Krishna Prabhu Mataji, how did this weekend make you feel?
I just feel that I personally, have forgotten so much of the early days and of Prabhupada's association. But today I've, being in association with all the devotees, and they've brought up so many memories, and it's just been fantastic. I hope we can continue to have regular reunions.
Srila Madhudvisa Mataji, you joined in 1972 here in Melbourne.
Yes, that's right.
Can you tell us a little bit about, your impressions of the weekend?
Massively impressive for me. It's been wonderful meeting devotee god sisters and brothers that I met years ago, and we've exchanged just in conversation details of our lives and how the material world and our spiritual lives have treated us. And I think a lot of us have grown spiritually and materially as individuals. I can see where our spiritual endeavours have helped us through a lot of the trials and tribulations of life itself.
I see all these devotees who gave the best parts of their lives to Srila Prabhupada. And everything that a devotee does is spiritual. Even when he has a reunion, which is, in a sense, is kind of funny because you've got a lot of devotees who are maybe not so active now in devotional service. But when they get back together again and they start remembering those days, the 20, when they're teens, some of them, through their 30s, and you sense that although they gave the best time of their lives when they could have been, many of them are very, very intelligent. They've got very quick humor, quick wit, and brilliant people actually who could have been very successful materially, I'm sure of it. But they gave that to Srila Prabhupada to establish his movement. And when they get together and remember it, you see that they don't regret it. And I just see there's so much love there, and it melts my heart. I just want to cry.
Who's got the gong? So when Bhakti-Jet bangs the gong, you all start eating. Now please, I humbly request, please silence. Now we need, all hands on ground, right hands on ground. Okay, so on the count of 3, the gong will ring, and start eating.
It's not speed, it's quantity, right? Just start.
You're not going to catch him, mate. Okay, now Nadia. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Bo, and thank you, Nadia. Oh, too late. Thank you. No. Thank you very much.
Sorry, see you later.
See you later. Let's hear it from Bo.
Smile.
Found staples without any the glazed look, the strange grin. First 1 to 40 is the winner. Let's go. Wherever you're up to, put 10 more on straight. I've heard that somewhere.
The Jerry's win!
Let's get another $3 in.
But this festival is something that should be encouraged throughout the world among Srila Prabhupada's disciples, because it enhances one's desire to increase his devotional service. And seeing all the old Prabhus, it makes me feel really affectionate towards them, rekindles my affection towards them, and it really brings it all home that we are Prabhupada's family. We're all part of Prabhupada's family, and they are my God brothers and God sisters. And honestly, I haven't smiled and laughed as hard and as much as we've been doing it in the last couple of days. And not to speak of the kirtans, the ecstatic harinams that we've had, and Kurma's delicious prasadam, and the films, and the videos, and the tapes, and everybody's personal remembrances. It's something that I'm not going to forget, for the rest of my life. And it makes you want to get back together with your God brothers and God sisters and do something for Prabhupada like you did before.
Hare